Welcome to another edition of NetStruc Talks. It's your host, Sharon Lead, and I'm excited each and every time when I have my special guests here to talk about their journey, their storyline, and just how they are able to help individuals on a personal level as well as a business level. And today I have a guest that is going to be talking about what she specializes in is branding and revenue generation. She also has a passion in maternal health and dyslexia. Stay tuned. Welcome. And again, this is your host, Sharon Lead, and I am the host for NetStruc Talks. And I'm excited to have my special guest here, Oriel McKinney.
Yes.
And she is, and let me make sure, because I always want to make sure that I tell everybody's name of their business. Her business is called the Small Business Engine, an industry of business where you help businesses develop in real estate as well as branding and generational increase, correct?
That is correct.
That is correct. Well,
That is
Oriel,
correct.
thank you so much. I have to say that this is a long time coming because I was on your show
Mhm.
talking about my brand and, in PR and why it's important for small businesses. So I'm excited to have you part of my show for you to actually help and give some insight and some tips to businesses and what you do and how you're able to help businesses. So let's talk about why you decided to get into helping out businesses on a branding level, to expand and to become successful in that.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here and to greet your audience. So thank you so much. Business development for me came very naturally. It was such a shock. Honestly, I would like to say that everything was planned and deliberate,
Mm-hmm.
but how it started was having conversations with my friends. Really having conversations with my friends that we went through, maybe perhaps college together, and those kind of that time of my life. And through those conversations, they would implement the ideas that I was providing. And then following up with them and staying in contact and watching them grow, I realized that I'm good at this. I could see things. I can problem solve, I
Right,
can
right.
create solutions. And I
Mm-hmm.
decided to invest in myself and make sure that I continue to bring value and bring about this business.
That is a key word that you said, invest in yourself. Many small businesses feel that their investment is the creation of the business and that's it.
Mm,
Where you took it a step further because you're a service base. So
yes.
you're actually helping other businesses to become successful. But, that's a key thing. How do you deal with businesses or entrepreneurs that come to you that is saying to themselves, well, I invest in myself. Why do I need to work with you? This is something where, maybe you should be given this for free or some, because I've been getting that also.
hmm
How do you deal with businesses and what do you tell them to, let them know that this is the right choice for them?
Yeah. You know what? There's only so much information, honestly, that you can get for free. There's only so much information that Google can provide. Now, I have a pet peeve with professionals that are in our realm that provide information that's open source that you can really get on Google. The magic is that we're bringing our experience and we're bringing in our results. I
Mm,
wouldn't work with somebody who doesn't have a track record, who doesn't have results, who cannot have the level of relatability
right.
that I would need in my business. So I encourage other people to do the same. Who are you working with? It matters. Has
Mm-hmm.
that person researched your industry? Has that person had practical experience in your
Right.
industry. There has to
Right.
be something that will make them bring value to
Hmm.
you and your business and your clients.
You know, when you talk about value, it's so key. Um, everybody should say to themselves when they create a business that their business brings value.
Hmm.
But we have blinders on, and
Yes.
having someone to come outside and to see the other greatness to pull it out, it's more of, sometimes it's like pulling, it's like a tug of war,
Yes.
because they're so sure and they don't want to move, that they're not coachable.
Hmm.
And it's at that point where you say to yourself, okay, right now you're not ready.
Hmm.
And but that they have a great just a great service or a great product. I mean, how do you deal with that mentally, to say, okay, you know what, I know you have a great product, but you are your worst enemy at this point.
Yeah. And you have to hit them right between the eyes with that information. There's a reason why the conversation was initiated. You don't meet, clients just happen to be at the same conference. Yes, that
Hmm.
happens. But more times than not, people seek you out. They know that there's a deficiency, they
Hmm.
know it. And you're not trying to alter anybody's confidence
Hmm.
or undermine their business structure or their gift or their talent, but you need a team. You
Hmm.
can't really um you can be self-made, but you're self-made with a team.
I
You
love
might be
that.
the name and the brand, but there are people or systems, people and systems that you've created around you so that there's a team. And when you bring me into that environment, or we
Hmm.
create that environment together, it's an integral part of the formula.
Hmm.
You really, there are deficiencies there, and you have to be able to be a good listener, be able to extract what's going on and identify some of the pitfalls, because a lot of things that people encounter, they seem pretty harmless, they're pretty benign, they're pretty harmless, and it's
Hmm.
okay.
Hmm.
But when you put everything together and you can point out, hey, you're successful in this, right? But what are the goals? How are you successful in terms of how are you measuring when it comes to your goals? Let's get there.
Hmm.
Because don't get lost in the minutia of it. And if
Right.
somebody's not ready, they're not ready. That's their own right.
Right.
I don't
Exactly.
force it.
Exactly. And I come across that also. People come to me and they say, "Hey, Sharon, I want to be in the media." And there's just certain levels and certain steps that you should be at before you actually go before the media and actually do interviews such as this. I mean,
Mhm.
if you don't have talking points, if you don't have systems in place, like what you said, even the branding part,
Yeah.
that's so key, because when people look at you, you have to look the part. You have to, as you're talking, you have to also look the part, but as well as your systems needs to be in place. And those are the things that what you help businesses with, right? To
Mhm.
put
Yeah.
their systems in place, just to make sure. And so just talk about, because I know some people on here, say, well, what type of systems?
Mhm.
There's a wide range of systems that people talk about. What type of systems do you actually, help them in to get to the next level?
Yeah. I think what's missing a lot, I see it again and again and again, is that follow through, right? So what's going to give that prospect, that client, um, trust in you? And then we start from there.
Mm,
So, what do you use to follow up on every lead that you have? What do you use? What's your track record on how many touch points that you need to bring that client from uh, acquaintance to awareness to curiosity to ready to invest to growth? And
mhm,
you have to meet people where they are, in
mhm,
business and in life, and then walk that path. And so there's so many things that you can put in place. I mean, from your accounting, that's key, because people get distracted by that, and that might not be what your strong suit is. There's a CRM, a customer relationship management tool. How are you categorizing your prospects, and what are you using to determine that that person or company is a good client for you. Not every client is a match. Not every prospect is a match, excuse me.
Absolutely.
And
Right.
that's okay too. You have, you don't want to be so niche that you have blinders on, but you don't want to be so broad to the point where you don't know who you can serve.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You talked about follow-up. um that is, I believe, the like what you said, the worst downfall that many small businesses have, because they're doing everything. They're the accountant, they're the marketer, they're actually doing the work, they are actually dealing with clients, they're doing everything. And then to turn around now and go out, network, connect with people, and now follow up effectively.
Mhm.
Whereas what you said, the team is a very big part of this.
Yeah.
So when you speak with someone and you talk to them about the follow up, and you break through that barrier of for them to actually realize that, yes, this is, these are the problems that I have, these are the flaws.
Mhm.
um are one of the things that you actually recommend is them now bringing on a team? Do you help them identify what the right team people will be to bring on? Or is that something, once you line up the different follow-ups with them, the systems and thing in place, now it's them to, say, okay, you know what, this is who I need to bring on.
Yeah. So it depends on where you are, and we'll walk the path together, right? So, bringing on your team could mean more automation, right? It doesn't have to be somebody under your employ. It could be a contractor, it could be a temporary contractor. You put
Mm.
out a 3 month, a 6 month proposal, request for proposals. And this is somebody I want to work with to get this product launched, put that product into automation. And then while you're watching that and making sure that that's sustainable, then you can move on to your next major project.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you're using companies that can help you service. So whether that's a chat box that can help you service and keep track of who's reaching out to you, all those things, and that's part of a team. So not everybody, and people have to understand, like, because entrepreneurship is so hot right now and so sexy, and that's what we have to do, and nobody wants to work for somebody. I mean, that's just not a reality. We need people to work for us. Sometimes we're working for others.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cycle, and there's nothing wrong with it. You don't jump into entrepreneurship because it sounds so sexy and because it's a TikTok fad, right?
Right,
You jump
right,
into it because you're ready to go through the battle of the ebbs and flows of the business,
right.
you know
And,
and
and and you're looking to offer a service to provide some type of a help or assistance to a particular individual or group of people. So,
exactly.
I think that that's excellent. You walk them through step by step.
Hmm.
So there is no reason for them to say that, you know what, unless they don't put the work in also. So I know what you're saying is, we walk you through, but they got to put the work in also. This
Absolutely.
isn't this isn't something where you're just gonna do it. This isn't a done for you, I should
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. And it's not magic. There's nothing when I
Right.
walk in my portfolio, it's not magic. I'll bring in my results, and I've done my homework on, the information that you provide me and what I could gather about your brand, and we have a
Hmm.
conversation. But at
Hmm.
the end of that conversation, everybody at the table has action items. So we all have to start working.
Absolutely. What type of clients do you work with? I mean, are there any specifics? I know you deal with entrepreneurs, small businesses, but are there any niche, the specific niche?
I would say, while it may not be very industry specific, I would say it's usually within those first, like, the 3 to 5 years is a pretty hot spot from where you started, because the startup, there's a lot of information about startup, and I've helped a lot of companies start. And now I've moved on to, like, that growth phase. Hey,
Mm.
we've done the basics. This is what we have. I don't want to just talk about how I can register. I mean, that's not part of the growth phase. That's just your business 101. When we're having a conversation, it's that 201 level of how do I get to that next step. And I've worked a lot. I used to be in the restaurant business, so I work with a lot of restaurants. I've done a lot of alcohol business. Bringing that's a whole nother beast with the laws and regulations. And you have to know, what's going on. If you're in banking, insurance, alcohol, all those things, real estate, everything that has a lot of government oversight, that's going to also determine how you do business.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I may take a moment, I'll follow up in a week, I'll follow up in 2 weeks, whatever I need to gather in order to be of best service to you.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing. And I'm pretty sure the clients that you work with are extremely satisfied with the results, because I know that you are that type of person that is going to take you from from the beginning to the end. And if you see any type of hiccups or anything, you are able to identify that and you have to regroup.
Yeah.
Um, you know, it's so important for small businesses to understand that everything is not a cookie cutter.
No.
Like there's things that we may see in the front, in the front end, but as we go along, we see that there's some bumps. And
Yeah.
that's where we actually have to say, okay, you know what, we got to go around this because we didn't expect it. Life comes in, and life will just, have its challenges.
Mhm.
And we have to work around that to maintain, in order for us to, continue doing what we have to do to help our clients. And businesses need to understand that, this is business, this is life, this is what the big corporations go through. It's just that they just have so many employees working for them, so it makes it look like it's easy, but everybody has challenges.
Yeah. And, bigger companies, they're layered. So a lot of things that happen when you're looking at how they might perform from a lean perspective, agility, lean, Six Sigma, I offer that as well. Through my certifications, and I identify, that waste, and that's something. But I
Mhm.
don't want it to seem that I'm, without fault. I'm very, very proud of what I've done, and I'm very, very sure about what I'm good at and what I can offer. I'm confident in that. But I can tell you the hiccups that I've made over the years and the
Mhm.
lessons that have come from it and continue to do so. This year has been just extraordinary in the craziest kind of way to define that. Like I said, I was in the restaurant industry. I'm no longer. That's all part of my 2022 um, lifespan.
Journey. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it really is. I mean, by the time COVID had a third variant, I realized that it wasn't sustainable. I
Mhm.
realize with, sometimes you're closing, you have to close your lobby, your dining room because of local laws and all of that. You realize how much it's affecting your employees and their families sometimes. It wasn't sustainable. It didn't make sense. There were a lot of lessons there. I've
Mhm.
had personal loss. I've lost my father this year, and he's taught me some of the greatest business lessons ever, and so
Right.
I have this blog, and it's like my life lessons are my business lessons. And I've
Mhm.
always done that because my parents are very old school. So they almost speak sometimes in parables. I'm like, what? But you get the lesson and you apply
Yes.
it,
Yeah.
So there are a lot of hiccups, and I'm open to sharing those lessons in a
Mhm.
way that's relatable.
That's great. That's amazing. Now you have a academy. It's Fuel Academy, FUEL, it's acronyms,
Mhm.
Academy, and it benefits businesses on a professional level. You want to talk about that?
Absolutely. So Fuel is Friends United in Entrepreneurial Leadership. And it just came to me one night I woke up. I was like, absolutely, I'm trademarking it. I'm here and I'm
Mhm.
ready. And what I do, because I promote having systems, that's part of my system. I needed to be able to duplicate what I do in a bigger way. If everybody had to wait for me to be available, I would see less people. And I
Mm.
didn't want to do that. While everybody gets their specialized attention, there I've created some classes that help and support, and then you can go on and then we could work together privately as well.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of great information in there, from your general coaching right down to all the steps. How do I market? How do I develop? Let's talk about our money. Let's talk about social media. Let's talk about my product. Let's audit. There's an audit in one of the courses where it's like, okay, let's take these 5 days, and which I condensed for the purpose of the class. But
Mm-hmm.
outside of that, it's like a 5-day audit where you're like, okay, how did I perform? What products and services do I need to keep? What do I need to expand? And what do I need to rid myself of? So all those little things are in there. And then you have the benefit. And I check in. My clients will get a random call. I can see who registers and who, what cycle we're in and where they are. And I'll call, hey, how are you? They never think it's me. They always think it's spam. But I call and I reach out. But I want to know. I'm generally invested. I want to know how you're doing,
Right.
So
Right.
that's just been a great joy of mine. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
very proud of Fuel Academy.
No, that's amazing. And you know, the busy person, somebody who has, maybe a 9 to 5, and now they're doing their business, evenings, mornings, weekends, whatever. I think this is a great opportunity for them to really get this information, just as what you said. If you're not available, but they still have access to your skill set, which you
Mm-hmm.
put into this academy. So that's a great opportunity. We're going to get all of your contact information at the end of our conversation. But I want to talk briefly about a passion that what you have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, separate from the business part of it. It's in the health part of it, which is
Mm-hmm.
maternal health, which is huge
Yes.
going on now in our country right now, as well as dyslexia.
Mm-hmm.
Um, why maternal health and dyslexia? I mean, was there a personal journey or personal, storyline to it, or was it just because of the nature of it that you said, you know what, I want to take this on as a personal project?
Um, Absolutely a personal story and quest. So
Mhm.
one of the things I do, I'm in pageantry as well. A lot of people, they get surprised with that because I'm pretty, I come from like an engineering background. Like it's crazy. So they don't expect it, right? But I use my pageantry to help me to grow some of the awareness and causes. You know what I mean? I struggle
Mhm.
saying awareness because everybody's raising awareness. You have to go beyond awareness and do the work,
Right.
because I'm over the awareness part of it. So
Absolutely.
maternal health, I've had two children. They were both born prematurely. I had severe preeclampsia. My blood pressure was out of control. And there were so many things that happened within the journey of becoming a mother that
Mhm.
my life was at risk and my children's lives were at risk. During both pregnancies. The mortality rate for Black women is 3 times as high as other races. And a lot of it is preventable. A lot of it is through listening. My husband and I serve on a local hospital board. We serve on different boards within this hospital network. One is a patient advisory board. Another one is the NICU board. Another one is for the women's hospital wing. And through our work there, we actually won a grant recently to bring a mobile unit into neighborhoods that don't have access to prenatal care. And these doctors who are volunteering their time and understand the need and the cause of what we're doing, they're extending that care into 3 months postpartum. So that's a long time coming. My oldest is 8. He had 3 surgeries before he was 1, and
Wow.
he's doing wonderfully now. And my
Thank
daughter,
God.
she was also born prematurely, but there were things that we couldn't even figure out why. And there were times
Mm.
my mother advocated for me. She's a retired nurse and midwife, and she advocated for me when they discharged me. And she was like, "But you could have a seizure. Look at your numbers." But she's old school with how she calculates everything, and so
Mhm.
she was able to just kind of bust in the room and let them
Mhm.
know, "Can you give me a good reason why she was discharged?" And they couldn't.
Mm.
Needless to say, I was admitted to the hospital, and that saved my daughter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, thank God that both your children are well.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
but this whole maternal health crisis is
It
getting
is.
worse and worse.
Yeah.
Resources are getting less and less in the Black and Brown communities.
Mhm.
And, good for you for sitting on a hospital board to bring not only your personal experience,
Mhm.
but to help other mothers not go through that because of your experience. And so you can actually bring awareness and they can actually walk the walk of
Mhm.
what you were saying. It's so important for that. It really, really is because, and then legislation, they look at what they want to look at.
Mhm.
And this is something that it's killing us. It's
Yeah.
killing Black women. It's killing our babies. And, there has to be something put in place for mothers. And I don't want to just put it all on the onus of the resources. We too, as mothers, we need to say, you know what? I need to make sure I get my prenatal care. I need to make sure that I eat right. But
Mhm.
again, we're falling back into the resources that's available. In the Black and brown communities, there's a food deserts.
Yeah.
So
But I created another resource because what I realized is sometimes we don't even know what questions to ask. One,
that's
when we
another
do
thing.
ask a question, the question may not be honored.
Hmm.
It has no spirit of let me find the answer. you
Right.
know so
Right.
I created this checklist of what you need to ask, and I primarily use it for expecting mothers, but it could be used for anybody. And I was able to distribute that over 1,000 times, and I'm very proud
Wow.
because I want people, you could download it off my site, it's free. I want people to take charge of their healthcare. If we wait for others to see humanity in
Hmm.
us, in
Hmm.
everyone, even though people are charged with that, even though they take this that Hippocratic oath, and this is like what they want to do and what they went to school for, that doesn't mean that they see the humanity in you.
Right. No,
So we
I
have to
love
make sure
that.
that people do.
And you said that people will be able to download this checklist
Yes.
from
On
your
my
website.
website, if you go to my website, orielross.com, and then you go to the pageantry link and scroll down, and you'll see my maternal health platform. It's open. Please download it. Share it with your girlfriends. When you go out, you have girls' night, talk about it. Talk about these things. Hey, what do you ask your doctor? What should I ask my doctor? Let somebody know. We don't be ashamed. The
Yeah.
human body is the human body, and we deserve for somebody to advocate for us the way my mom advocated for me.
Well, listen, we deserve to get the best health care that everybody else deserves. So,
Mhm.
and, we should definitely be able to be in a position where we should be able to give birth to our children at a healthy capacity, and we walk out just as what you said. Your mom was an advocate. Our healthcare providers are an advocate for us. Our community is a healthcare advocate
Mhm.
for us. We're our own advocate for us. And thank you for being an advocate in this, because you're right. Sometimes our young moms, they don't know the questions to ask.
Yeah.
They don't know. And even the older one, I'll be honest with you, I got our third son 11 years later after our second son, and everything changed. I
Yeah.
mean, it was it was different. And if it wasn't for, my OBGYN to really keep me up to date on
Mhm.
everything, and, and just keep me, and, just keeping me just informed.
Mhm.
I'll be honest with you, I would have been, I was straight, breastfeeding, which he was just like, you need to eat this. We had a nutritionist, but again, a lot of moms don't have that type of access, and they
Yeah.
don't even know how to ask those questions. So
Mhm.
I would definitely like to make sure that everybody who's listening, please go to Oriel's website. It's right there in her bio. We're also going to have it in the bio and the link to her website. Go there. If you know of anyone that needs to get this type of information, you can literally just go to her website and get this. And for our business owners, if you
Yes.
are looking to excel, another reason, go to Oriel's website and you will be able to take advantage of her academy if you don't have the time to, do the one-on-one, and then be prepared to get a phone call from her.
Yes. I'm sneaky like that.
Be prepared, which is great, it just shows that you are passionate about what you do, and you care about your clients, and
I
you care
do.
about people that works with you and utilizes your services.
Yeah.
Anything last before we go that you would like to leave our listening audience?
Just thank you. Thank you for your platform. Thank you for what you do. And just being in that broadcast business. A lot of people just narrowcast, right? But you're able to amplify voices. So thank you for that example that you lead. And I am here. I'm available. I'm always ready to grow the next business and create better businesses and better entrepreneurs. And I believe in that architecture.
Amazing, amazing. Well, thank you so much. We would love to get you back on, maybe to do a panel on maternal health. And
Mhm.
and I'm sorry we couldn't touch on the dyslexia. I mean, if you want to give, maybe like one or two reasons why, you actually wanted to, have that part of your advocacy as well. I mean, I know
Yeah.
some people that are listening would love to hear that as well.
Sure. I'll be brief. With dyslexia, my son is actually dyslexic.
Okay.
It's not recognized. I live in Florida. It's not recognized by the state of Florida as a disability. Um,
Mm,
and there are a couple states where it's not. So I also have to advocate for him. So my
mm-hmm,
son is he's pretty well behaved. He's pleasant to be around. He doesn't present as a problem. His
mm-hmm.
grades are good because I know that he has to work 2, 3 times as hard as his peers. I just realized that there's something different in the way that he processes information.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got him a full psychoeducational evaluation. And, that's something else that not everybody has access to because nobody helped me. It wasn't a county or a school or anything like that. I had to get it done privately. And I had to fight for that. I got him a visual therapist. I wanted to make sure his eyes were functioning. And we found that he had a convergence deficiency. He processes information. And I tell him all the time, I said, hey, bud, people like you and we just have to work harder.
Mm-hmm.
And he understands that. And I think that people need to understand, that people are very quick to maybe call children slow or they can't do this or restrict what they can do. I'm here to show him what he can do. And so I'm proud my kids became published authors this year. They
Wow,
became published authors because
congratulations.
thank you. I wanted to show them this is what you can. Don't let people tell you what you can't do. So what it takes you a little bit longer to get through that passage. And he works with a tutor that's does Orton Gillingham, which is a special tutoring learning method
Mm-hmm.
for children like this. And he's worked at the local university, or that he gets those services because I have to make sure that his confidence doesn't waver because he learns differently. And I got him an IQ test because I don't want anybody to think that it's an IQ issue. He has an exceptional IQ. He processes
Wow.
differently, and we have to understand that every child is different. And you don't have the right to use a fancy title, a fancy label. I recently told him that he's dyslexic because it wasn't important for me to label it. And it wasn't important for him to be labeled. It was important for us to get into a rhythm and habit and
Mm-hmm.
studying structure so that
Mm-hmm.
he can be successful. He's only
Amazing.
8, but that's what we're working on.
Amazing. That is amazing. Just to keep pushing your kids and putting them in a limelight that they didn't even know that they can be in, and keep
Mhm.
encouraging them. So, again, big shout out to you. Big shout out to your kids. Congratulations
Yeah.
on their authorship, that they are now authors.
Mhm.
And, again, are there books on your website? We definitely got to promote Kidpreneur
Yeah.
now, right?
Yeah, they're on the website under books, and they have their own website, Ross and Rain. Rain has an E at the end, RAINE, rossandраin.com. And their first book is Weekend Fun. And right now they're writing their second book about their traveling journeys. It's really about how they get along as siblings, how they're there for each other, and how they go through um, life's decisions.
Amazing, amazing. Oriel, thank you so much. We
Thank
appreciate
you,
this.
Sharon.
This was a lot. We're gonna have to bring you back and literally just break this up in series with you, because you are such an amazing, amazing woman. That you are just giving back not only to businesses but also to the community, with health awareness that is just so big and prominent in our communities. So thank you
Mhm.
so much, and we look forward to having you back on the show.
I
Take
look
care,
forward
Oriel.
to coming back. Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank
Take
you.
care.